Ladies and gentlemen, in the wake of the challenges that have defined our recent past, the year 2025 marks a pivotal moment for our world. It is a time to reflect on what has been, but more importantly, to rebuild what can be and create a future where sustainability, innovation, and unity are at the forefront. Today, I want to talk about how we can rebuild in 2025, not just physically, but socially, economically, and culturally. As we look ahead to 2025, one of the most critical aspects of rebuilding our world is ensuring that sustainability is not just a buzzword, but a foundational principle that guides every step of our recovery. We have witnessed the adverse effects of climate change, resource depletion, and environmental degradation over the past decades. Extreme weather events, rising sea levels, and dwindling natural resources have served as stark reminders that the way we live and operate on this planet is unsustainable. Now more than ever, we must shift our focus to rebuilding a world that respects the limits of our planet, embraces renewable energy, and prioritizes long-term ecological health. Rebuilding with sustainability at its core means more than simply adopting greener technologies. It involves rethinking the very way we approach growth and development. It is about crafting a future where we don't just take from the earth, but work in harmony with it, using resources wisely and sparingly. This will require an overhaul of the industries that have traditionally been the largest contributors to environmental harm. For example, in construction, we must move toward energy-efficient, eco-friendly buildings, using sustainable materials and minimizing waste. In agriculture, regenerative practices that restore the soil rather than deplete it will need to replace conventional methods that prioritize short-term gains over long-term sustainability. And in transportation, we must continue accelerating the transition to electric vehicles, public transit, and alternative modes of transport that don't rely on fossil fuels. Moreover, sustainability isn't just about the environment, it's also about ensuring that social and economic systems are resilient and equitable. This means investing in green jobs, ensuring that the workforce is trained in new sustainable industries, and promoting policies that encourage both innovation and environmental responsibility. It's about creating a circular economy where materials are reused and recycled, reducing waste and keeping valuable resources in use for as long as possible. It's about supporting local communities in adopting sustainable practices that empower them rather than contributing to a cycle of environmental exploitation and economic inequality. As we rebuild in 2025, we must also recognize the importance of global cooperation. Environmental issues are not confined to one country or one region, they affect us all, regardless of borders. From the Paris Agreement to global climate summits, the need for coordinated international action has never been clearer. We must continue to collaborate across nations, share knowledge and resources, and hold each other accountable to the commitments made to protect the planet. In this context, rebuilding sustainably also means investing in innovative solutions like clean energy, from solar and wind power to emerging technologies like hydrogen fuel cells and advanced nuclear reactors. By making clean energy accessible and affordable for all, we can reduce our dependence on fossil fuels, decrease carbon emissions, and create new economic opportunities in the process. Similarly, sustainable agriculture and food systems will play a crucial role in rebuilding a world where food security and environmental stewardship go hand in hand. Sustainable farming methods that focus on biodiversity, soil health, and water conservation will help ensure that we can feed the world without depleting its resources. Ultimately, rebuilding sustainably is not just about making incremental changes to the systems we already have, it's about creating entirely new models for living, working, and interacting with the world around us. It's about designing a future where the needs of today don't come at the expense of future generations. By making sustainability a core value of our rebuilding efforts in 2025, we have the opportunity to create a world that is not only more prosperous and just, but also more resilient and harmonious with the natural environment that sustains us all. As we stand on the threshold of 2025, one of the most exciting prospects in our journey of rebuilding is the incredible potential of innovation. Throughout history, innovation has been the driving force behind societal advancement. From the Industrial Revolution to the digital age, human ingenuity has continually reshaped the world in profound ways. In 2025, the opportunities for harnessing cutting-edge technologies and novel ideas are limitless, and we have the chance to not only recover from the challenges of the past, but to leap ahead into a new era of progress. At the heart of this innovation is technology. Over the last decade, we've seen tremendous advancements in artificial intelligence, machine learning, biotechnology, and robotics, among others. These technologies are no longer just the realm of scientists and tech experts, they are increasingly accessible and applicable to a wide range of industries. From healthcare and education to energy and agriculture, innovation has the power to solve some of the world's most pressing problems. For instance, AI-driven solutions have already transformed industries by optimizing processes, improving efficiencies, and reducing waste. In healthcare, AI is revolutionizing diagnostics and personalized medicine, allowing for quicker, more accurate treatments that save lives and lower costs. In agriculture, smart farming technologies are helping farmers increase crop yields while minimizing their environmental footprint, leading to more sustainable food production. But innovation isn't just about improving existing systems, it's also about reimagining how we live and work. The shift to remote work during the COVID-19 pandemic highlighted the importance of digital connectivity and the possibilities for flexible, decentralized ways of working. As we rebuild in 2025, this model of work can be further refined and expanded. Hybrid work environments, virtual collaboration tools, and the democratization of digital knowledge can break down traditional barriers to employment and empower people to work from anywhere in the world. This shift has the potential to foster a more inclusive global economy, where talent is distributed and opportunities are not limited by geographic location. In addition to technological advancements, the rebuilding process in 2025 can also be driven by innovative ideas in business models and social systems. The rise of the sharing economy and platform-based services has already reshaped sectors like transportation, accommodation, and retail. Moving forward, we can continue to build on this concept of shared resources and access over ownership, which is not only more sustainable, but also more resilient. Circular economies, where products are designed for reuse, repair, and recycling, will play a key role in creating a future where waste is minimized and resources are used more efficiently. Similarly, the future of urban development is being shaped by innovation, with smart cities integrating technology to enhance efficiency, sustainability, and the quality of life for their residents. These cities will rely on data-driven solutions to improve everything from traffic management to waste disposal, creating environments that are both more livable and more sustainable. Innovation also holds promise for addressing some of the most complex challenges of our time. Climate change, for example, requires an unprecedented level of innovation in both technology and policy. Renewable energy technologies like solar and wind power are already playing a critical role in reducing our reliance on fossil fuels, but we must continue to innovate to make these energy sources more efficient, affordable, and widely adopted. The development of new energy storage systems, such as advanced batteries, will be crucial in enabling the full potential of renewable energy. Additionally, carbon capture and storage technologies are being researched as a means of reducing the amount of CO2 released into the atmosphere, helping to mitigate the effects of climate change. By investing in these innovations, we can not only help repair the damage that has been done to the environment, but also create new economic opportunities and jobs in green industries. Moreover, the digital revolution continues to transform every aspect of our lives, from how we communicate to how we shop, learn, and even govern. In 2025, we are likely to see even more groundbreaking developments in areas such as blockchain, cryptocurrency, and quantum computing. Blockchain has the potential to revolutionize industries such as finance, supply chain management, and healthcare by providing secure, transparent, and decentralized systems for transactions and record-keeping. Cryptocurrencies and decentralized finance could reshape global financial systems, providing greater financial inclusion for people in underbanked regions of the world. Quantum computing, though still in its infancy, holds the promise of solving complex problems in fields ranging from cryptography to drug development, far beyond the capabilities of classical computers. As we move into 2025, the ability to harness these innovations will be crucial for rebuilding a more prosperous, equitable, and sustainable future. However, innovation alone is not enough. It must be accompanied by thoughtful policy, ethical considerations, and a commitment to ensuring that these advancements benefit all of humanity, not just a select few. The rapid pace of technological change presents both immense opportunities and significant risks, and it is essential that we approach innovation with a sense of responsibility, ensuring that it serves the greater good and creates a future that is inclusive and fair for everyone. By leveraging the full potential of innovation, we have the power to not only rebuild what has been damaged, but to create a future that is brighter, smarter, and more resilient than ever before. One of the key challenges of rebuilding in 2025 is ensuring that economic recovery benefits all sectors of society, particularly those who have been disproportionately affected by past crises. Economic systems have long been marked by inequality, with wealth and opportunity concentrated in the hands of a few. The rebuilding process in 2025 must focus on creating an economy that is more inclusive, where people from all walks of life have access to opportunities and can thrive. This means addressing income inequality, investing in education and skills development, and fostering an environment where entrepreneurship and innovation can flourish for everyone. Inclusive economic rebuilding starts with ensuring that all individuals, regardless of their background or circumstances, have the opportunity to participate in the economy. This means removing barriers to entry for marginalized communities, whether they be people of color, women, or individuals from low-income backgrounds. Education plays a pivotal role in this process. By investing in accessible and affordable education, we can equip people with the skills they need to succeed in an increasingly digital and globalized economy. From early childhood education to higher education and vocational training, we must ensure that people have the tools they need to adapt to a rapidly changing job market. In addition to education, access to capital is essential for economic inclusion. Small businesses and entrepreneurs, particularly those in underserved communities, often face significant challenges in accessing funding. Whether through loans, grants, or investment, we must create systems that make it easier for these businesses to start, grow, and succeed. This will not only help create jobs but also stimulate local economies and reduce economic disparities. For example, community-driven initiatives like microfinance have proven to be effective in providing small-scale loans to individuals who might otherwise be excluded from traditional financial systems. By scaling these models, we can help foster a more equitable economic landscape. Another critical element of inclusive economic rebuilding is ensuring that workers' rights are protected and that labor markets are more equitable. The gig economy, which has grown rapidly in recent years, offers flexibility and freedom, but also comes with challenges such as job insecurity and lack of benefits. As part of the rebuilding process, we must address these challenges by creating policies that ensure fair wages, job security, and access to benefits like healthcare, retirement savings, and paid leave. Additionally, we must continue to advocate for policies that promote diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workplace, ensuring that everyone, regardless of their background, has an equal opportunity to succeed. Sustainable economic growth in 2025 also means embracing the principles of green and circular economies. As we transition to more sustainable industries, we must ensure that the benefits of this transition are shared broadly. Green technologies and industries have the potential to create millions of new jobs in sectors like renewable energy, electric vehicles, and sustainable agriculture. These jobs can be a lifeline for communities that have been left behind in the traditional economy. By investing in green infrastructure and sustainable development, we can not only address environmental challenges, but also create a more resilient and inclusive economy. Finally, inclusive economic rebuilding requires strong social safety nets to support those who are most vulnerable. As the global economy recovers from past setbacks, it is essential that we create systems that protect people from the shocks of unemployment, illness, and economic hardship. This might include expanding universal health care, implementing paid family leave policies, or offering unemployment benefits that provide a safety net for individuals during times of transition. By building a robust social safety net, we can ensure that no one is left behind as we rebuild and move forward. The key to a successful economic recovery in 2025 lies in creating a more inclusive economy, one that provides opportunities for all, reduces inequality, and ensures that everyone has a stake in the future. By focusing on inclusive policies and systems, we can build a stronger, more resilient economy that works for everyone, not just a select few. As we move toward 2025, the rebuilding of economies across the globe must focus on inclusivity. It is not enough for growth and prosperity to be concentrated in the hands of the privileged few, as it has often been in the past. In fact, an economic recovery that fails to address inequality and social exclusion will only create a society more divided and less resilient in the face of future challenges. Economic rebuilding, therefore, must prioritize inclusivity in both policy and practice. This means creating a system where people from all walks of life, regardless of their race, gender, or socio-economic background, have equal access to opportunities and resources. One of the key pillars of inclusivity is ensuring equal access to quality education and skill development. As technology rapidly transforms industries and the job market becomes more competitive, the need for accessible education is paramount. Education, in its many forms, must serve as the bridge that allows individuals from disadvantaged backgrounds to not only participate in the economy, but to thrive within it. In particular, there is an urgent need to invest in vocational and technical training that aligns with the future demands of the labor market, where skills in technology, renewable energy, and advanced manufacturing are becoming increasingly essential. By expanding access to these training programs, we can equip individuals with the tools they need to build a sustainable career, whether that career lies in healthcare, information technology, or green industries. In addition to education, access to capital plays a crucial role in economic inclusivity. Many entrepreneurs, especially those from marginalized communities, face significant barriers when it comes to securing financing to start or expand their businesses. These barriers may include a lack of collateral, limited access to formal banking institutions, or the absence of mentorship networks that are essential for business growth. For many, these barriers are insurmountable, perpetuating cycles of poverty and inequality. To address this issue, we need to build systems that enable equitable access to financing. Microfinance initiatives, for example, have proven successful in empowering individuals to start small businesses, lifting them out of poverty, and stimulating local economies. Expanding these programs and offering more accessible, low-interest loans to entrepreneurs in underserved communities can stimulate job creation and foster local economic development. Furthermore, encouraging large financial institutions to invest in underrepresented communities through targeted lending and grants can help break the cycle of economic exclusion. In addition to removing barriers to entrepreneurship, inclusivity and economic rebuilding also requires a focus on fair labor practices and workers' rights. The gig economy, which has become increasingly prevalent in recent years, offers flexibility and autonomy, but has also raised concerns about job security, income stability, and lack of benefits for workers. The COVID-19 pandemic exposed many of the vulnerabilities of gig workers, many of whom were left without adequate financial protection when they lost their jobs. To ensure that workers in all sectors, both traditional and gig-based, are adequately supported, governments must invest in policies that provide a safety net for workers. This could include expanding social protections such as paid sick leave, universal health care, and retirement benefits, all of which ensure that individuals can work with confidence, knowing that they will be supported in times of hardship. At the same time, it is crucial to ensure that all workers, regardless of employment type, receive fair wages and have access to opportunities for career advancement. By addressing the vulnerabilities in the labor market and improving working conditions across industries, we can create a more resilient and equitable workforce that benefits everyone. Strengthening social ties and unity in 2025, rebuilding will not only be about physical infrastructure or economic systems, but also about repairing and strengthening the social fabric that holds our communities together. The past years have seen the erosion of trust, growing polarization, and a general sense of division, both within countries and across the globe. This is a crucial moment to recognize that the strength of our societies lies not just in the economy, but in the unity, trust, and collaboration among individuals and communities. Social rebuilding is about fostering a collective sense of responsibility and connection, encouraging people to work together toward shared goals, and ensuring that all voices are heard and respected. The first step in this process is to rebuild trust within communities. Over the last decade, many people have felt disconnected from the systems and institutions that are supposed to serve them. Distrust in government, media, and even other members of society has eroded social cohesion and led to heightened tensions. To counteract this, rebuilding trust will require transparency, accountability, and meaningful dialogue. Governments and organizations must prioritize open communication and ensure that people feel their voices are valued. Public institutions must also demonstrate their commitment to social equity and justice, especially in light of the growing demands for racial and gender equality. By making sure that systems are fair, transparent, and responsive, we can help restore people's faith in public institutions and strengthen the foundations of society. At the community level, rebuilding trust involves bringing people together through shared experiences, fostering social connections that bridge divides. In many parts of the world, communities are fragmented, with individuals often isolated within their own social circles, or even more profoundly within their own ideological bubbles. To overcome this fragmentation, we need to foster spaces for open, respectful dialogue and collaborative action. Local initiatives such as neighborhood events, community projects, and volunteer efforts can play an important role in rebuilding social cohesion by bringing people from different backgrounds together to work on common goals. Social media platforms too can serve as tools for unity, but they must be used responsibly to promote connection rather than division. By fostering environments where individuals can engage in meaningful discussions and act collectively toward common causes, we can begin to rebuild the social capital necessary for a united, resilient society. Promoting inclusivity in social rebuilding also means ensuring that marginalized and underrepresented groups are not left behind in this process. Historically, certain communities, whether based on race, gender, socioeconomic status, or geographic location, have been systematically excluded from the opportunities and resources necessary for social mobility. As we rebuild, it is imperative that we address these disparities by making sure that all individuals have access to the same opportunities to thrive. This might include efforts to ensure equal representation in political and community leadership, support for programs that promote gender and racial equality, and policies that reduce economic and educational disparities. It also means amplifying the voices of those who have historically been silenced and making sure that their perspectives are integrated into the decision-making processes that shape our future. Finally, social rebuilding must focus on fostering a culture of empathy and mutual respect. In an era of increasing polarization, it can be easy to view those with differing opinions as adversaries. However, true unity comes from recognizing our shared humanity, regardless of our differences. By promoting a culture that values empathy, we can create a society where individuals listen to one another, understand diverse perspectives, and collaborate despite disagreements. This is essential for rebuilding a cohesive society that can withstand future challenges. Education systems, media outlets, and community organizations all play vital roles in shaping public attitudes and behaviors. Through education on conflict resolution, empathy-building exercises, and promoting cultural exchange, we can help create a more unified, resilient society where individuals work together rather than apart. Resilience in the face of future challenges. The need for resilience is perhaps more critical than ever as we move toward rebuilding in 2025. The past several years have taught us that unexpected crises, whether pandemics, economic collapses, or environmental disasters, can disrupt every facet of our lives. The ability to recover from these crises and to bounce back stronger requires not only preparation, but also flexibility, adaptability, and innovation. As we look to the future, we must focus on building resilient systems that can endure and thrive, even in the face of the unexpected. One of the first areas in need of resilience building is healthcare. The COVID-19 pandemic underscored the weaknesses in global healthcare systems, particularly the inequities in access to care and the lack of preparedness for large-scale health crises. As we rebuild, it is essential that healthcare systems become more resilient by investing in infrastructure, technology, and workforce training. This includes ensuring that healthcare systems are not only responsive to immediate needs, but also capable of managing long-term health challenges such as aging populations, chronic diseases, and emerging infectious diseases. In addition, healthcare resilience must prioritize equity, ensuring that everyone, regardless of their economic or geographic status, has access to affordable, high-quality care. Beyond healthcare, resilience must be integrated into other critical sectors, such as infrastructure and education. The importance of robust infrastructure became evident during the pandemic, as many areas experienced disruptions in transportation, communication, and essential services. Rebuilding these systems with resilience in mind means creating infrastructures that are adaptable to future challenges, such as climate change or technological shifts. This could involve building climate-resistant infrastructure, such as flood-proof buildings or renewable energy grids, as well as investing in the digital infrastructure needed to ensure connectivity in an increasingly remote and virtual world. Similarly, education systems must be flexible, able to adapt to changing needs and technologies, and equipped to prepare students for the challenges of the future. This means investing in both traditional education and new models of learning that can offer skills relevant to an ever-changing job market. In building resilience, we must also focus on fostering a culture of preparedness. This includes developing strategies for disaster response, strengthening local communities, and ensuring that people have the skills and knowledge to handle crises. Preparing communities to respond to emergencies, whether they are health-related, environmental, or economic, will be essential for ensuring that they are able to withstand future shocks and recover quickly. Equally important is promoting mental and emotional resilience. As we rebuild, we must address the psychological toll that crises have taken on individuals and communities, providing resources and support for mental health and well-being. By building not only physical but also emotional and social resilience, we can create communities that are better equipped to navigate future challenges. Resilience, then, is about much more than just bouncing back from adversity. It's about creating systems that are dynamic, flexible, and capable of adapting to change. It's about ensuring that we don't simply rebuild what was lost, but that we build something stronger, more sustainable, and more equitable for the future. Only by embedding resilience into every aspect of society, whether healthcare, infrastructure, education, or governance, can we ensure that we are prepared to face whatever challenges lie ahead. As we approach 2025, one of the most important aspects of rebuilding the world will be fostering global cooperation and collaboration. Over the last decade, many of the most pressing challenges have shown us that no single country or region can solve the issues of our time on its own. From climate change to pandemics, geopolitical tensions to economic instability, these crises are interconnected and transcend borders. In an increasingly globalized world, we must recognize that cooperation between nations, organizations, and individuals is not just a necessity, it is the key to a resilient and sustainable future. Global cooperation must begin with shared responsibility. It is no longer enough for nations to look inward, focusing solely on their own interests without regard for the broader global community. The interdependencies of the modern world mean that challenges faced by one country often reverberate throughout the globe. For instance, the COVID-19 pandemic demonstrated that diseases do not respect borders, and the solutions to global health crises require a collective effort. Similarly, climate change knows no borders, and its effects are felt worldwide, with extreme weather events, rising sea levels, and environmental degradation impacting even those nations that contribute the least to the problem. To address these challenges, countries must engage in international agreements and work together to develop solutions that benefit all, not just the few. This requires political will, a commitment to multilateralism, and the creation of mechanisms that ensure accountability for those who do not uphold their obligations. However, fostering global cooperation also means recognizing the unique needs and contexts of different nations. While global challenges require collective action, the solutions must be tailored to the specific circumstances of each country. For instance, while wealthy nations may have the resources to transition to renewable energy quickly, developing countries may require financial assistance, technology transfer, and capacity building to do the same. In this sense, international cooperation must be built on the principles of equity and fairness, with wealthier nations taking the lead in supporting those that are less able to contribute. This can be seen in the context of climate change, where wealthier nations are urged to honor their commitments to reduce emissions and provide financial support to developing nations to help them mitigate and adapt to climate impacts. By working together, the global community can ensure that the transition to a sustainable, low-carbon economy is inclusive and equitable, leaving no one behind. In addition to addressing shared challenges, global cooperation will be essential for driving progress in key areas such as technology, trade, and security. The rapid pace of technological advancement presents both opportunities and risks that extend beyond national borders. International cooperation in the areas of research and development, the sharing of knowledge, and the regulation of emerging technologies will be critical in ensuring that technological innovations are harnessed for the greater good. For instance, breakthroughs in artificial intelligence, renewable energy, and biotechnology have the potential to revolutionize industries and improve lives worldwide. But these innovations also raise ethical, security, and privacy concerns that require global governance frameworks to ensure that they are developed and deployed responsibly. Similarly, in the realm of trade, fostering open and fair markets will be essential for rebuilding economies in the post-pandemic world. By collaborating on global trade policies, nations can create an environment that fosters economic growth, reduces poverty, and promotes shared prosperity. Lastly, global cooperation will be essential in building a secure and peaceful world. Geopolitical tensions, conflicts, and insecurity continue to plague various regions of the world, threatening stability and development. Rebuilding in 2025 must therefore prioritize efforts to prevent conflicts, address the root causes of violence, and strengthen the mechanisms for peaceful conflict resolution. By strengthening international institutions such as the United Nations and promoting dialogue and diplomacy, we can create a more peaceful and secure global environment. In this context, it is also important to recognize that security is not just about military might, it is about ensuring economic stability, access to resources, and social justice. A holistic approach to global security that incorporates these dimensions will be crucial for building a safer and more sustainable world. Fostering social and cultural diversity, as we rebuild in 2025, we must recognize that true resilience and strength come from embracing diversity in all its forms, whether cultural, social, or economic. Social and cultural diversity has always been one of humanity's greatest strengths, and yet, in many parts of the world, it has often been a source of division and conflict. In the aftermath of global crises, such as the pandemic, economic disparities, and political upheaval, it is more important than ever that we focus on fostering inclusivity and celebrating the richness of human diversity. The first step in fostering social and cultural diversity is ensuring that every individual, regardless of their background or identity, feels valued and respected. In many societies, marginalized groups, whether based on race, ethnicity, religion, gender, or disability, have historically been excluded from full participation in social, political, and economic life. As we rebuild in 2025, we must prioritize the dismantling of these barriers and work to create inclusive systems that promote equal rights and opportunities for all. This involves addressing not only the overt forms of discrimination, but also the subtle systemic biases that continue to limit the potential of individuals from underrepresented groups. Legal frameworks that protect against discrimination, along with policies that promote equity and representation, will be essential in ensuring that social and cultural diversity is respected and celebrated. Furthermore, it is important to recognize that social and cultural diversity is not just about tolerance, it is about actively promoting intercultural dialogue and understanding. In a world where globalization has made interactions between people from different cultures more frequent, the ability to engage with and learn from others has never been more critical. Education systems, media outlets, and community organizations all have a vital role to play in promoting cultural exchange, understanding, and respect. By fostering spaces where individuals can share their stories, experiences, and traditions, we can build bridges across divides and promote mutual respect. This approach can help counteract the rising tide of nationalism and xenophobia that has emerged in many parts of the world and instead foster a sense of shared humanity and global citizenship. In addition to promoting inclusivity at the individual level, fostering social and cultural diversity also means creating diverse and inclusive institutions. From the workplace to political bodies, diversity within organizations brings a wealth of perspectives and ideas that enrich decision-making and problem-solving. A diverse workforce is more likely to innovate, respond to challenges creatively, and develop solutions that serve the needs of a broader population. For instance, research has shown that companies with diverse leadership teams tend to perform better financially and are more effective at addressing the needs of diverse consumer markets. In politics, diverse representation ensures that the voices of all citizens are heard and considered, leading to more equitable and effective policies. By making diversity a priority in hiring, recruitment, and promotion practices, we can ensure that institutions reflect the full spectrum of society. Finally, fostering cultural diversity requires that we respect and protect the rights of Indigenous peoples and local communities, whose cultures, languages, and traditions are often under threat. In many parts of the world, Indigenous communities face the loss of their land, language, and heritage due to economic development, environmental degradation, and social pressures. As we rebuild, we must recognize the unique contributions of these communities to the global cultural landscape and work to preserve their traditions and knowledge systems. This can be achieved through the protection of Indigenous rights, the recognition of their cultural heritage, and the inclusion of their voices in decision-making processes. By doing so, we can ensure that the diverse cultural tapestries of our world are not only protected but celebrated for generations to come. Rebuilding the education system for the future. The education system has always been one of the most important pillars of any society, and as we move toward 2025, it will be one of the key areas to focus on in the rebuilding process. The COVID-19 pandemic exposed many of the weaknesses and inequalities within education systems globally, from the digital divide to the challenges faced by students and teachers in remote learning environments. These challenges have highlighted the need for a complete overhaul of the education system, one that prioritizes access, equity, and adaptability while preparing students for a rapidly changing world. The first priority in rebuilding the education system is ensuring that education is accessible to all. Access to quality education has long been a privilege rather than a right for many, particularly for those in low-income or marginalized communities. The pandemic exacerbated these inequalities, with many students unable to participate in remote learning due to a lack of access to technology or reliable internet connections. To address these disparities, governments must invest in infrastructure that ensures all students have access to the tools and resources they need to succeed. This includes providing digital devices, expanding internet access in rural and underserved areas, and ensuring that teachers are adequately trained in digital literacy. By bridging the digital divide, we can ensure that education is accessible to every student regardless of their socioeconomic background. In addition to improving access, the education system must also be made more flexible and adaptable to meet the changing needs of students and the workforce. The rapid pace of technological advancement means that the skills required in the job market are constantly evolving. The traditional education model, which is often focused on rote memorization and standardized testing, is no longer sufficient to prepare students for the complexities of the modern world. Instead, the education system must place a greater emphasis on critical thinking, creativity, problem-solving, and collaboration. This will require a shift in teaching methods with a focus on hands-on, experiential learning and interdisciplinary approaches that allow students to explore real-world problems and solutions. Additionally, there must be a greater focus on lifelong learning, as the rapid pace of technological change means that individuals must continuously update their skills throughout their careers. Offering opportunities for reskilling and upskilling will be essential in preparing individuals for the jobs of the future. Another key aspect of rebuilding the education system is ensuring that it fosters a global mindset and prepares students to thrive in an interconnected world. In a globalized economy, students must be equipped with the skills to collaborate across cultures, understand global issues, and engage in international dialogue. This means that education should go beyond national borders and include a broader curriculum that incorporates global perspectives on issues such as climate change, social justice, and economic development. By encouraging students to think critically about the challenges facing the world, we can cultivate the next generation of leaders who are equipped to navigate the complexities of a globalized society. This also means promoting cultural exchange programs and opportunities for students to engage with peers from different countries, fostering understanding and empathy across cultures. Finally, rebuilding the education system in 2025 requires a focus on mental health and well-being. The pandemic has placed enormous stress on students, teachers, and families, with many struggling to cope with isolation, anxiety, and uncertainty. As we rebuild, it is essential that the education system prioritizes mental health by providing support services, counseling, and resources to help students manage stress and emotional challenges. Teachers, too, must be supported as they face new challenges in adapting to changing educational environments and addressing the needs of their students. By creating a system that prioritizes both the intellectual and emotional development of students, we can ensure that they are prepared not only to succeed academically, but also to navigate the complexities of life in a rapidly changing world. Rebuilding the education system in 2025 is not just about returning to the status quo, it is about creating a system that is more inclusive, adaptive, and forward-thinking. By investing in access, flexibility, global awareness, and mental well-being, we can ensure that the education system prepares students for the challenges and opportunities of the future, creating a more resilient and prosperous world for all. As we look ahead to 2025, one of the most urgent areas that requires rebuilding and transformation is urban spaces. The rapid growth of urban populations over the past few decades has created sprawling cities that often suffer from congestion, pollution, and inequality. The ongoing challenges of climate change, resource depletion, and the COVID-19 pandemic have further highlighted the need for a fundamental rethink of how we design, build, and manage our cities. Urban spaces must evolve to meet the demands of the future, balancing economic growth with environmental sustainability, social equity, and public health. A key focus in the reimagining of urban spaces will be the integration of green infrastructure. As cities continue to grow, they often expand into natural habitats, which disrupt ecosystems and increase the urban heat island effect, where cities become significantly warmer than their rural surroundings. To address this, cities must prioritize the creation of green spaces, such as parks, green roofs, and urban forests, which provide not only aesthetic and recreational benefits, but also contribute to improving air quality, reducing stormwater runoff, and mitigating climate change. These green spaces should be accessible to all residents, especially in underserved neighborhoods where access to nature has often been limited. By incorporating nature into the urban landscape, cities can become more resilient to climate impacts while also enhancing the well-being of their inhabitants. Another crucial aspect of reimagining urban spaces is the concept of sustainable mobility. The reliance on private vehicles in cities has led to traffic congestion, air pollution, and the degradation of public health. As we move into 2025, cities must shift away from car-centric transportation models and embrace more sustainable modes of transport. This includes the expansion of public transit systems, the development of pedestrian-friendly infrastructure, and the promotion of cycling. Electric vehicles, shared mobility services, and autonomous transportation systems should also be integrated into urban planning, making it easier for people to move around efficiently and sustainably. The goal is to create transportation networks that reduce dependence on fossil fuels, lower carbon emissions, and promote healthier lifestyles. A well-connected and diverse transportation system can also foster greater social inclusion, ensuring that all people, regardless of their income or background, have access to mobility. Equally important in the redevelopment of urban spaces is the creation of affordable housing. The skyrocketing cost of housing in many cities has led to widespread displacement, homelessness, and social unrest. To address this issue, urban planning in 2025 must prioritize the development of affordable, high-quality housing that meets the needs of all residents, particularly those from low-income backgrounds. This includes not only building new affordable housing units, but also improving the quality and sustainability of existing housing stock. In addition, zoning laws and land use policies should be reformed to allow for the development of mixed-income neighborhoods that provide diverse housing options. This will help prevent the concentration of poverty in certain areas while fostering greater social integration and equality. Moreover, housing should be designed to promote community engagement, with public spaces that encourage interaction and collaboration between residents. The use of technology in urban design will also play a pivotal role in the cities of 2025. Smart city technology, which incorporates sensors, data analytics, and artificial intelligence, can help optimize the management of urban resources, from traffic flow to energy consumption. For instance, smart grids can enable cities to manage electricity more efficiently, reducing waste and ensuring a more sustainable energy future. In addition, the use of digital platforms for services like waste management, water distribution, and emergency response can improve the responsiveness and efficiency of urban systems. However, it is important that these technologies are deployed in ways that are inclusive and equitable, ensuring that all residents, including those in marginalized communities, have access to the benefits of smart city innovations. Technology can also be used to engage citizens in decision-making processes, giving them a greater voice in shaping the future of their cities. Finally, the redevelopment of urban spaces must prioritize resilience in the face of future challenges. Climate change, natural disasters, and pandemics are just a few of the crises that urban areas may face in the coming years. To build cities that can withstand these shocks, urban planners must incorporate resilience into every aspect of design. This means constructing buildings and infrastructure that can endure extreme weather events, such as floods, storms, and heat waves, as well as ensuring that cities are prepared for public health emergencies. Cities must also be designed to support social resilience, creating spaces that foster community ties and social cohesion. Strong social networks are essential in times of crisis, and urban spaces should provide opportunities for people to come together, collaborate, and support one another. By building resilient cities, we can ensure that urban areas remain livable, sustainable, and adaptive to the challenges of the future. Economic diversification for sustainable growth. As the world moves toward 2025, economic rebuilding must focus on diversification to ensure long-term sustainability. Many economies are currently reliant on a limited number of industries or resources, which makes them vulnerable to market fluctuations and external shocks. The COVID-19 pandemic, for example, exposed the fragility of economies that depend heavily on tourism, retail, or specific sectors, such as oil and gas. To build economies that are resilient to future crises and sustainable in the long term, diversification is essential. One of the most effective ways to diversify an economy is by investing in emerging industries and technologies. The transition to a green economy, driven by renewable energy, electric vehicles, and sustainable agriculture, presents a massive opportunity for economic growth and job creation. By investing in these sectors, governments can reduce their reliance on fossil fuels and create new industries that are both economically viable and environmentally sustainable. Additionally, the digital economy offers enormous potential for diversification. As technology continues to advance, the demand for digital services, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and data analytics is growing rapidly. By fostering innovation in these fields, countries can position themselves as leaders in the global digital economy, creating high-paying jobs and attracting investment from around the world. In addition to emerging technologies, economic diversification requires a focus on strengthening the creative and cultural industries. These sectors have historically been undervalued in many economies, yet they have the potential to generate significant economic value and provide employment opportunities across a wide range of skill levels. The creative industries, including design, film, music, literature, and fashion, are also highly resilient to economic downturns, as they are often driven by demand for cultural experiences and expressions that transcend market cycles. Investing in the creative economy not only provides a source of economic diversification, but also fosters cultural exchange and enhances national identity. Supporting these industries through grants, training, and infrastructure development can help unlock their potential and create vibrant cultural ecosystems. Another key element of economic diversification is supporting small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs. These businesses are often the backbone of national economies, yet they frequently face significant challenges, including access to financing, regulatory barriers, and limited market reach. Governments must prioritize policies that support the growth of SMEs, including easier access to credit, reduced bureaucracy, and incentives for innovation and entrepreneurship. In particular, the rise of digital platforms has created new opportunities for SMEs to reach global markets, and investing in digital infrastructure and e-commerce capabilities can help these businesses thrive. By fostering a diverse and vibrant SME sector, economies can reduce their dependence on large corporations and create more localized, sustainable sources of growth. Furthermore, economic diversification requires a focus on human capital development. A well-educated, skilled workforce is essential for driving innovation and supporting the growth of new industries. Governments must invest in education and training programs that equip workers with the skills needed in emerging fields such as renewable energy, digital technologies, and healthcare. This includes both traditional education pathways, such as universities and technical colleges, as well as non-traditional routes, like vocational training and apprenticeships. Additionally, reskilling and upskilling programs for adults will be essential to ensure that workers are able to transition into new industries as the economy evolves. By investing in human capital, countries can ensure that their workforce is equipped to thrive in a rapidly changing global economy.